Grand Rising all. Today I decided to do a nice video for you outside in the sun because we're going to be talking about vitamin D. Should we be putting on sunblock? Should we be putting on more clothes? Should we not have direct communication with nature, with the sun? Should I be inside right now doing this video to protect myself from the harmful UV rays that I've been told about most of my life, or especially in America? What should we be doing right now? So I'm going to bring you a little closer to the board, show you how vitamin D activates in the body, and we're also going to discuss some of the amazing things that supplements cannot do for you. Supplements cannot do for you, and it's the only things that you're able to get by being outside, directly in contact with nature. All right, I'm gonna try and stay out of the board a little bit because my shadow is blocking some of the things that I wanted you to see, but this looks pretty good. So vitamin D, the sunlight hormone, is the fuel that enables your body to manufacture vitamin D. All right, don't judge my picture. So the vitamin D's far-reaching effects on the body are aligned with how hormones act to influence cellular function, metabolic pathways, and gene expression. This is going to make sense to you by the end of the video. And what's interesting to me about vitamin D is it's not really a vitamin, it's really a hormone. And that's something that I learned when I went to school, because vitamins are organic compounds that can't be made by the body. They can't be made by the body, but they are necessary for proper function, and like vitamin C. But hormones are synthesized in the body just from simple precursors that go to distant tissues. So they could be, like, for instance, we're going to go through how the sun is able to be synthesized and turn into vitamin D, which is really a hormone, because vitamins can't be created in the body. Hormones are created in the body, and they have distant effects on different areas. Okay, so let's start with what happens as soon as the sun gets into your skin. It has a precursor. It's a cholesterol-like molecule called 7-dehydrocholesterol. It's similar to cholesterol, but this is what gets the process started the moment the sun touches your skin. And that starts the process by absorbing just the UVB, because there's different types of sun rays. There's UVA, UVB, UVC. UVB is what you want. So it absorbs the UVB portion of sunlight to create pre-vitamin D. Because when you get the sun, you don't just get activated vitamin D right away. It's pre-vitamin D, and it has to go through a process in order to become activated vitamin D, which is to be utilized by different organs in your body. So now the skin is going to stir up for us some pre-vitamin D. So from the time it hits the skin, creates the pre-vitamin D, it rearranges itself, pre-vitamin D3, it rearranges itself with the help of the body's heat to give birth to vitamin D, which is immediately going to exit the skin and head for the bloodstream. Okay, so before vitamin D can act as a hormone, it must go through 2 steps of activation in the liver and in the kidneys. And just so you know, an SPF of 30, I mentioned this in a post earlier, it reduces your ability to create vitamin D by up to 90%. But we're going to go into SPF, if you should be wearing it or not, and maybe the best kinds to wear. People can help us out with that, because I don't wear any. But even an SPF of 30 is going to block the sun's ability to create vitamin D by 90%. So now we got the skin that prepared for us the pre-vitamin D. The pre-vitamin D is exiting the skin for the blood, and then we have the liver over here, which is going to start the activation process for the vitamin D by creating 25 vitamin D. These are just different names that's given for each process that the vitamin D has to go through in order to become active. So don't get caught up in the words. Also known as calcidiol. So the liver takes it and creates the major circulating form of vitamin D, which is calcidiol. Then that 25 vitamin D is sent to the kidney. I think this is a good picture. That's my little kidney bean. It's sent to the kidney to create activated vitamin D, which is called 125 vitamin D. And from there, we're able to feed our calcium, muscles, bone health, regulate BP, insulin production. So this is the process that your body goes through in order to make a complementary vitamin for you that all of us are running out into the store to purchase, when we don't necessarily have to, unless you have issues, which we'll get into. So this is the process from the skin. We got pre-vitamin D to the liver, to the kidneys, and then it's sent here to calcium, muscles, bone health, regulate your blood pressure, insulin production. Now, if you are overweight, if you have excess fat throughout your body, that is a major factor to get vitamin D deficiency, because the vitamin D is going to get locked up in the fat cells. So there are a lot of people who are overweight who have vitamin D deficiency for that reason. Fat cells, they have vitamin D receptors, and receptors are just target areas that the body has to reach for the vitamin D to get activated, similar to the prostate, the breast, the brain. The fat cells also have receptors because they can store vitamin D for future use. For instance, people that are in New York or New Jersey, anywhere like that, by you getting a lot of vitamin D throughout the summer, it's able to store the excess in the subcutaneous levels just under the skin, so that it could be slow released as we exit the summer months, and you'll have some vitamin D for the winter. It's not going to save you for the whole winter, but you will be able to have slow release vitamin D from the summertime because your body is able to save it. It's like we're hibernating. So the fat cells have vitamin D receptors, and it also tells your brain that you're full, that you've had enough. Fat cells secrete a hormone called leptin. I'm gonna erase some of this board soon because it's starting to look a little crazy. So they secrete a hormone called leptin, and that hormone allows you to say, I'm good, I'm full. Now, a lack of vitamin D can interfere with this appetite suppressing hormone, whose job it is to regulate your body weight. And it can also turn on genes to control cell growth and induce apoptosis, which just means cell death, cell suicide. If you have some type of malignant cells that's starting to grow out of control, vitamin D cells can induce that. Vitamin D can induce apoptosis in the body. It can also prevent blood vessels from forming a nutrient that the cancer needs to survive. You understand? So and just remember, the darker your skin is, the longer you need to be out in the sun. We're gonna move on from here. I'm gonna draw a little something else up there for you. Now I wanna shift gears because there are a lot of people that's worried about UV radiation damage, but you need to understand that light is a necessary nutrient, especially for melanin dominant individuals. I'm gonna bring you closer so that you can see the different layers in the atmosphere before it reaches to the earth. All right, light is a major nutrient because it regulates hormones, melanin production, immunity. Activity is all predicated on dark light exposure. Now, life on Earth is protected by a layer in the stratosphere called the ozone layer. That's right here. The ozone shield is being deteriorated due to man-made chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons. And those things are like fire extinguishers, dry cleaning agents, pesticides, degreasers, adhesives, aerosol products, things like that. Those are the things that are depleting the ozone layer. Excuse me. Okay, Mimi, go that way, please. Thank you. Now, so the ozone layer is a protective layer of gas molecules that's located in the stratosphere, and it's 3 to 5 millimeters thick. Now, in regards to the ozone layer, melanin dominant individuals, let me show you, right? Melanin dominant individuals free from food toxins, not drug dependent, capable of receiving fresh air and water, will be able to make enough melanin to counteract the dangerous concentrations of UV radiation that may be emitted. It won't harm the nucleus of the cells or destroy the epithelial layers of the skin. So if you're able, but let's be honest, how much people are really that clean? But pretty much that's what's going on here. And as you've seen before, I have the A, B, and C because there's different levels of UV radiation. B is the one that we want. They even have light bulbs that are UVB light bulbs, which are better than fluorescent light bulbs because those are hacks to your body. So UVB is what we want. UVA is the one that's able to bypass the stratosphere and get to Earth. UVB, typically in New York, certain areas, we only get that during the summer months, so you need to be outside. UVC never makes it down to the earth. These are just different rates at which energy vibrates from the sun. The next thing that we can move on to is called circadian rhythm, which is your body's biological clock. This is able to tell the hormones when to secrete, when to stop secreting, because your body only knows nighttime and daytime. It is not concerned with 1 p.m., 2 p.m., midnight. That's man-made stuff. Your body only knows daytime and nighttime. And that in itself is critical to health, because circadian rhythm issues are linked to a host of diseases. Our eyes are a major route in which light enters the body. Light enters your eye not only to serve as vision, but to directly go to the biological clock within the hypothalamus, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And this specific mechanism controls the nervous system and the endocrine system, whose combined effect regulates all biological function in humans. That's why this system is so important. Once the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, receives the signal that it is light outside, you're going to have serotonin production. And serotonin gives you that natural high by releasing that feel-good substance into your body. And when the SCN receives the signal that it's dark, then you get the melatonin, which is going to allow you to feel sleepy. You're going to feel a little drained, and you know it's time to go to bed, because this is the time where your body is going to heal itself. So you want to make sure that you heed to the laws of nature. The daytime is when you should be up, and the nighttime is when you need to go to sleep. Now, lack of sunshine is the primary culprit for circadian rhythm disruption, right? So disturbance of the rhythm is linked to neurodegenerative disease, cancer, obesity, decreased lifespan, etc. So what I want to show you now is something that can help reduce inflammation. And it's called grounding, because inflammation, which is the root of a lot of disease, inflammation is positively charged and the earth is negatively charged. So when you ground, you firmly root your bare feet into the dirt or the grass, you're able to receive the free negatively charged ions from the earth that is going to pull the inflammation out of your body, because inflammation is positively charged. Most of us, we have on rubber shoes all day. We are in an elevated bed. We're in high-rise buildings. And what that's doing is insulating our bodies from the electrical field of the earth, which coincides with chronic illness, an increase in chronic illness. So you want to make sure that you ground your feet. You could even ground your hands into the earth and receive the healing benefits of the ground. I also want to go over with you something amazing that you cannot get from vitamin D supplements, and it's called easy water. So we're typically familiar with 3 phases of matter: solid, liquid, gas. There's actually 4 phases. There's another phase called plasma. And the beautiful thing about plasma is it's highly electric, completely composed of electrons. And you can get this by exposing your body to the sun. What happens is the sun starts to shine down on your skin, and by the UV lights being absorbed into the skin, it starts to what's known as separate charge, because your body is full of protons and electrons, positive charge and negative charge. So this is the one case where positive is bad and negative is good. So a lot of us have a lot of positive charge in our body, and positive charge relates to inflammation, any kind of disease, but a high amount of inflammation, which is the reason why you want to also start to ground your feet directly into the earth to pull some of the inflammation out of your body. But what easy water does, how easy water gets created in your body, is we absorb the UV light into our skin, and by the combination of the sunlight plus the water that is in our skin, it starts to make a exclusion zone, which is essentially we get rid of the protons, we get rid of the neutrons, and we only have electricity that's running through our body. And the electricity is going to speed up certain reactions in our body. The blood is going to flow much better. So this is something that's amazing for people that are overweight, dealing with high blood pressure, dealing with diabetes. You need to get out into the sun so that you can benefit from the easy water. the plasma that's produced in your body only when you're exposed to the sun. All right, so we're gonna show you or explain to you something else that happens when sunlight hits your body that you cannot get from a vitamin D supplement, because human studies have showed that carcinogens exposed to chlorophyll have been abolished. Carcinogens exposed to chlorophyll have been abolished by chlorophyll. Show me something green.
What did you say?
Show me something green.
Green? Like this.
Yes, show the people.
A piece of green.
That's right. So what's amazing is after you eat greens, the chlorophyll enters your bloodstream. The wavelength of the sunlight penetrates your skin and reacts with the light. The light activated chlorophyll helps to create coenzyme Q10. A lot of ladies know what coenzyme Q10 is because it's something that can keep you looking very youthful. Coenzyme Q10 is created once a light activated chlorophyll is in your body. And what is this? It's an antioxidant. Coenzyme Q10 is an antioxidant that helps destroy free radicals. This is why you need chlorophyll plus sunlight. And another study, which I'm going to get back to you on because it's still being performed, is the reason that people get sunburn, because they don't have enough chlorophyll in their body.
The sun makes everything grow.
Exactly. Is the reason for the sunburn lack of chlorophyll in the body. Because one thing you know is that it is not the sun that causes the burning. It is the chemistry between the sun's UV radiation and whatever is circulating through your blood that causes you to burn. Because there are certain people that burn and there are certain people that don't burn. Obviously, if you are melanin recessive, if you don't have a lot of amounts of melanin, you are going to burn because you only need about 15 minutes a day. People of color, most of them from my shade and up, need at least an hour a day, but that will vary. Like I said, if you have a lot of toxins and waste in your body, you're not going to be able to stay outside that long because you will burn, because the chemistry of your body is not accepting the UV rays from the sun. So you have to change your chemistry, and the way that you would do that is by flushing out your system. You either could do a raw food diet. Raw food diets are amazing. You can also do cleanses. I have cleanses. This is a worm and parasite cleanse, 14 and 21 days. This thing might not happen in 2 weeks where you're able to go out in the sun after detoxing. It takes time. It took you a long time to break down your body to get it to the point where it is highly acidic, where you can't be outside, so it's going to take time to build it back up. But you can, if you work towards it, go outside in the future, sit in the sun without slathering up your body with a whole bunch of chemicals and a whole bunch of junk. Because the pros outweigh the cons by far. Most people use the excuse, well, I'm not going outside, sun cancer. But nobody has that same energy when it comes to eating things that clearly cause cancer. So it's a convenience factor. It's convenient and it's easy to stay out of the sun. That's why we say, well, no, I'm not going in the sun. It causes cancer. It's uncomfortable.
The sun makes you have muscles.
Yeah, it does help you grow muscles. But you have to be out in the sun for neurological function, for endocrine function, for movement, calcium, bones. Every single function in your body is necessary for sunlight. You have to be outside. There's a whole bunch of studies regarding fibroids that show lack of vitamin D is the cause for uterine fibroids, and that's why it's higher in the African community. Prostate cancer, higher in men. Why? Because your prostate has vitamin D receptors. Half of y'all balls don't be out ever. In the summertime, you got on long sleeve shirts, you got on jeans, you need to get out in the sun.
Mom,
every day, at least once a week, you need to expose your entire body to the electromagnetic spectrum. Turn it back, please. You have to expose your entire body to the electromagnetic spectrum. Ladies, your breasts got to be out. Find a place to expose your breasts. Fellas, your junk needs to be out. Find a place where you won't get arrested to expose your junk. You need to be out in the sun. Y'all have on too much clothes. You need to take the clothes off and you need to expose yourself. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, fibroids, immune issues, autoimmune disease, all enhanced by lack of vitamin D. You can name at least 50 diseases that you can look up scientific studies on and see that it's because of a lack of vitamin D. But I want you to do your own research on how much people have really caught skin cancer from the sun. Look up melanoma. Most people that caught melanoma, it wasn't even areas that were exposed by the sun. Some of them was under their foot or on their hand. I don't know anybody walking around like this. So it's not the sun. It is you. Yes, the ozone layer is partially depleted and there are toxins that are able to pass through the stratosphere and get to the earth. But if your body is cleansed up, you won't have issues.
I have a surprise for that.
Age spots? No, I'm in the sun all day. All day.
All day.
All day. Thank you. You have to get in the sun. If you can't get in the sun because you are too acidic, then you need to cleanse up. You need to clean your body up. You need to get more chlorophyll in your system. Sun's coming back out. So now the sun is hitting my skin. I had a lot of greens already. Had a lot of greens. So right now I'm creating coenzyme Q10, which is a natural antioxidant. That natural antioxidant is going to get rid of a lot of free radicals. And don't forget, you need to ground. These shoes that we're wearing, these rubber soles, is taking away the charge that's available from the earth to our body. The earth is literally able to pull out positive charge out of your body. Because remember, I said positive is bad in this situation because parasites, worms, inflammation, waste, those are all positive things that's floating around in your body. Positive is bad. So the earth is negatively charged. So people that live in high rises and these buildings that are sky high, you're so far away from the natural plane of the earth. You need to come out of those buildings and get on the floor. You need to find a place that has grass, that has dirt, and you need to plant your feet in. Plant your hands too. There's a reason why you have this texture on your feet like I discussed before. You have to get out into the sun. There are certain benefits that you can get from the sun that you cannot get from a vitamin D supplement, like the chlorophyll activated coenzyme Q10 and the easy water and the complementary beautiful tan. Can't get that anywhere else. Your supplements aren't going to do that for you. And you see in the process that it takes to get from your skin into different organs in your body. It was created that way for a reason. We are sunlight dominant people. If you are melanin dominant, you need to be in the sun. The sun is a part of your diet. Most of your energy comes from the sun.